Given that Jesse's evaluations indicated that he is performing below grade level in reading, it is recommended that a root cause analysis be completed to determine underlying deficits that may be the cause of his reading difficulties. Many students who struggle with reading have deficits in phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is being aware of the sound structure of words. With that in mind, Jesse was administered a teacher-created informal assessment to measure phonological awareness in 3 key areas: rhyme, segmenting, and blending. The assessment required Jesse to recognize and produce rhymes, count syllables, blend word parts, and blend words sound by sound, as well as segment words. Sample items were administered to make sure that he understood the directions for each section. The number of items correct within each section were counted and placed over the total number of items in the section. A score of 4 out of 5 or better was required to be considered proficient with the skill. Each subtest should be stopped if the first 3 items are missed. If the first 3 items on 2 tests in a row are missed, the assessment should be stopped. Jesse came easily to complete the informal assessment. He attempted all items presented to him, and he maintained attention and participated throughout the whole session. Jesse had strengths in recognizing rhymes and blending word parts. He had difficulty producing a word that rhymes when he was presented with the word. So during the word production, rhyme production subtests, he would pause before responding and repeat the words a couple of times before he actually provided an answer. He scored 1 out of 5 and was considered not proficient on that subtest. For syllable counting, he was given a word and he had to identify the number of syllables that he heard in the word. He was able to pass the first 2 sample items with ease, so we moved on to the actual testing items. He had 2 attempts for each item. He missed each one on the first item, with the exception of 2. He was able to tell that sock had 1 syllable and party had 2 syllables. For the remaining items that he missed on the first attempt, he was able to get them correct on the second attempt. The first attempt is what was scored. He scored 2 out of 5, which is considered not proficient. For the blending subtest, it was broken into 2 parts, being able to blend chunks of words, as well as being able to blend each word sound by sound. For blending word parts, he scored 5 out of 5 and was proficient. This is considered an area of strength for him. But when it was broken down into even smaller parts and the words were presented sound by sound, he had some more difficulty. He did repeat a couple of words several times in order to try to put the sounds together. He scored 2 out of 5, which is considered not proficient. On the oral segmenting assessment subtest, he did not follow the directions of one sound at a time. So for example, when he was given the word leaf, instead of saying eef, he said eef. The directions were repeated with each item presented. On this subtest, he scored 1 out of 5, which is considered not proficient. So those were all of the items that were presented to him. He did have difficulty producing a word that rhymes. When presented with words and asked to tell how many syllables, his responses were incorrect on the first attempt, and he did answer correctly on the second attempt. He had difficulty breaking words into its individual sounds, as well as blending words presented with each sound. Overall, he has deficits in phonological awareness based on the results of the assessment, and this will impact his ability to decode, to read fluently, which ultimately affects his ability to comprehend what it is that he is reading.